And that's fine. We have clarity, not agreement. You think the people in this audience should have to compete against foreigners for jobs. I think that you have a moral obligation to your own citizens to give them jobs.
Illegal immigration is literally breaking the law. And I really think that like these people don't believe in borders. Welcome back guys to Man on Reacts, and in this video you'll be seeing Charlie Kirk debating a college student where the student was like a totally socialist hippie who tried to defend illegal immigrants, some of whom have committed rape, some of whom have did some criminal offense in their own country, and some of who knows what type of crime they have committed in their own countries. He tried to defend them, but not only defend them, he tried to make arguments that were so surprising that left Charlie Kirk in shock. So without wasting any time, let's start the video from now.
So Trump, when he was in office, had at a certain point he had control of both the Senate and the House, and yet there are many issues that are still going on.
Well, so you bring up a pretty good point and then a not good point. So let me give you the pretty good point. You're right. Trump should have done more with a unified House and the Senate. So Donald Trump did actually fix the border, and he did it without the U.S. Senate or House. He did it through executive orders and through executive direction. The border, when Donald Trump was president, had the lowest ever recorded border crossings into our country on the southern border. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it's the highest ever, right? And so
why did he veto the border bill then?
Okay, well, first of all,
he used his political power to...
Fair enough. How much do you know about the border bill?
So the border bill was endorsed by the Border Patrol agents, right?
First of all, that's not correct.
That is correct.
No, they came out and they said they totally denounced it.
They didn't endorse Harris, they endorsed the bill.
No, you can look at Brandon Judd's statement. He said that's one of the greatest misinformation lies. But let's talk about what actually it is. That bill...
I can pull it up.
Yeah, type in Brandon Judd, border bill.
I'm going to type in the Border Patrol endorsement of the bill.
Well, no, Brandon Judd is the one you should look at, okay? So anyway, what some union says or doesn't say is besides the point. So, but let me ask you this. For getting the Border Patrol's endorsement or not, mass amnesty was in the bill. It would have given amnesty to 10
Border
million...
Patrol union-backed Senate immigration bill despite House GOP.
Yes. What did Brandon Judd say about that?
So the National Border Patrol Council...
Right, but that's not the Border Patrol union. Those are two different things, right?
They still have their endorsement, and again, you can't say they're Kamala's...
hold on a second. They retracted it soon after. Kamala. Just to be clear, though, it would have given amnesty to 10 million people in this country. Do you think that's a good idea?
Potentially, if they're working in this country.
Okay, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Because I really, as you know what, I really have this. I don't know. It's just like a gut feeling that these people really don't believe in like a country or like borders. They don't believe in like having borders. That's why always these people have like this ideas of like, yeah, you shouldn't have border. You should allow every single one person in. But once you ask them, how will you give these people jobs? These people will disrupt the job market. And so many problems that comes with illegal immigration, which is literally, is it a misdemeanor or it's a crime? Whatever it is, it's literally breaking the law. And I really think that like these people don't believe in borders. But let's just continue. Let's see what he has to say after making this point.
You would give amnesty.
The majority of illegal immigration, 75% of illegal immigration is overstaying visas.
These are 10 million people that came. We're not even talking about the overstay visas. We're talking about people that came across the border. 10 million of them.
Oh, wow, come on. Amnesty, really. Overstayed visa is literally different. The people who come from legal means and then they stay there more than the time that they were allowed to stay in the country. But the people that Charlie Kirk is talking about is literally the people who came by walking or, I don't know, crossing rivers, and they just entered US through the southern border. That's it. Like they didn't had any visas. I don't even know if they had identification of some sort. But they're inside the country now. All right, let's just get to the video.
Across the border, 10 million of them, uninvited. What would you do with them? Give them jobs?
If there's room for them to work.
Oh, this is a super important moral distinction, though. And that's fine. We have clarity, not agreement. You think the people in this audience should have to compete against foreigners for jobs. I think that you have a moral obligation to your own citizens to give them jobs before the people...
Yeah, that's just absurd to say absolutely not, because then that's why I said at the start he's like a socialist hippie who don't believe in like borders and just want to give it things to anybody and everybody. Like I don't think these people believe in like country. I don't think these people live in like borders of a country. These people, I think, have some sort of mindset of like allow everybody to come in, but when they have to actually think of the next step, which is what are going to happen or what are going to be the consequences of those things, they don't think about that, and they leave it to the other people to think about that, and that's why I think they are dumb.
So
You say
now,
not? Okay.
We don't have to worry that you're making a dilemma that doesn't exist. There are more jobs right now in this nation than there was under Trump.
Hold on a second. First of all, not well-paying jobs, and they're not keeping up. Why do you think that wages aren't keeping up with inflation? Wages aren't keeping up with inflation because people in this audience have to compete against people that have come across the border. But let's just talk about the morals of it. Just the moral. So you would give amnesty for people that are and newcomers that just come in and cut in line.
I want to talk about the practical here, Charlie.
The border bill gave them amnesty. It is practical.
So
that's why
the
Trump
practical
torpedoed
here
it.
is if they can help our nation, then we should let them.
Just let me ask you a moral question, because we can go back and forth. Do you think it should be a
Again, Charlie, I'm not here to talk your talk. I'm here to talk the practical, which
hold
is
on, no,
if they're
I am
here
practical.
and they can work. No, we're not talking about moral here.
Well,
We're
no,
talking-
the only discussion is the moral. Do you think it should be illegal to come into the country?
That's not what you led with the moral. That's not what I led with.
No,
We're not moving this conversation.
No,
You
we're going
can't
back to
strawman this.
the border bill. Actually, no, I'm not strongmanning it. The border bill
I
said
said straw man, not strong man.
I got it. The border bill did what for an amnesty? It would have given amnesty to 10 million illegal aliens, yes?
Okay, again, we're...
So you asked, you said, why did Trump torpedo it? Because Trump cares about Americans more than foreigners. That's why.
Boom.
Okay.
Why did the GOP endorse it?
The GOP did
Why
not
was it a
endorse it.
bipartisan bill at
Hold on a
first?
second. Senator Langford, who is a traitor to this country, endorsed it. Yeah?
Multiple GOP senators.
Okay,
and House
if you're
members
trying to
endorsed
convince
it.
me that a bunch of rhinos got behind a bunch of border bill, we're going to talk past each other. Read the bill. I do not think D.C. or Washington, D.C. should pass a bill that says if you come into a country, you're given amnesty. And you
Well, before we complete speaking, I have to say one thing. I think that what this kid did here was called, I think, authority fallacy, where, like, for example, someone in TV commercial is trying to sell some product to you, and they might say, well, doctors have approved this product. That doesn't make it okay. And sometimes people also try to discredit it by saying, well, a doctor doesn't agree with you, that means you are wrong. No, just because someone who's in power endorsed it, that doesn't make the thing that is being endorsed right. It may increase some value of it in this like perspective of people or the social value, but it didn't really made anything, or didn't added anything to the product itself. So it's just like Kamala Harris. So many celebrities endorse Kamala Harris. Does that make her the right candidate? Does that make her policies what people want to be? No. Guess who won at the end? The one who had the right product, the one who had the right policies, and Trump won at the end. I think this is bad. Authority fallacy, bad. Shouldn't do it. At least in front of Charlie Kirk, that's a bad move.
disagree. I don't. By the way, if they're doing jobs, more the reason to kick them out, because those should be jobs given to Americans.
But the job market is higher now than it has ever been. The stock market is higher now than it has
Hold
ever
on.
been.
Let's hold on. Do you guys think the economy is better or worse?
We're not.
You are living on a cloud, man. Listen to the people of this country. They can't afford things. The job market is awful. The economy is terrible. Stop reading the New York Times and start talking to American voters.
Yeah.
And you understand how insane you sound? The economy is better. People are telling you they can't afford stuff.
Yeah, inflation is high now because Trump spent more than any president on the debt.
The
In
same
4-year
argument.
So wait, it's Trump's fault that inflation is high 4 years later.
As you would come to realize, I'd hope in your role that economies are reactionary forces. It takes time for things to be implemented.
Got it. So nothing is Biden's fault. Everything is Trump's fault.
We'll see Biden's impact largely in the next 3 or 4 years.
So whatever Trump's gonna do will be like, oh, it's because of Biden. The economy is getting better. It has to be because of Biden. Fucking hell, man.
It really is remarkable, the power of propaganda. It's fine.
Really,
Do you think that Kamala Harris and Biden are successful?
It depends on what metric.
Biden a little bit.
But economy-wise...
No,
if you
I
look
actually
at-
do agree. They are a huge success in destroying the country. I totally
So
agree.
if you look at economists, right, some of the nations, actually many of the nation's leading economists have endorsed Kamala Harris for presidency because they say that Trump will ruin the economy.
Yeah, you know what? Putin also endorsed Kamala Harris. Now what? I mean, this is so crazy. Like, just because someone who comes out and be like, well, the president of Hungary, I guess, endorsed Donald Trump too. Does that make Donald Trump the right person for the people? No, it's his policies that at the end decides. And that's the reason he won.
Then why didn't he ruin it the first time?
He did.
Trump ruined the economy?
Again, it's reactionary forces. What Trump did is he handled...
But let me just ask one final thing.
Come on,
What
man.
is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
Kamala Harris's greatest
Zero.
accomplishment, I think it depends on who you ask, but I would say...
You.
Yeah, I would say it was cutting child poverty in half.
She did that?
The Biden administration, her and Biden did that, yes. And that was...
How did she do that?
So the child tax credit, basically from COVID...
Oh, you mean the one from the Trump tax cut?
It's not from the Trump tax
It is
cut.
from
it
the
is
Trump
actually.
tax cut.
No.
It is,
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
actually from the tax cut from December of 2017. The one that Kamala Harris is running against is the one
Tax
that you're
Cuts
touting
and
right
Jobs
now.
Act.
No,
Do you-
it's not
so
the case at
let-
all,
let me
Charlie.
just-
You can lie, but...
No, I mean, you're just totally wrong.
I encourage everyone to look up the child tax credit right now on your phones.
Yeah, the child tax credit was part of
And
the
look
Trump
on what
tax
bill
cut.
it was passed. Look what year it was passed.
It was during
It was passed in 2017-18, and yes, it was a part of Trump's tax cuts. It was a subcategory of child tax cuts. And the only thing that Biden and Harris administration did, I guess, was that they increased it a little bit. So didn't actually brought let's say they couldn't get the credit for bringing those bills. They could get the credit for extending it, but they didn't really had the credit for making it. So it has to go to Trump.
Yeah, it was 2017. Literally, Donald Trump expanded the child tax cut credit in 2017. Final question: do you think that Kamala Harris would do a better job the next 4 years than Donald Trump? If so, why? To make the case. I'm
No
curious.
way,
Okay,
dude.
so I would agree that Harris would do a much better job than Trump for a variety of reasons. Again, if you look at our current track record, we're coming out of the COVID and the Trump policy. We have the most amount of jobs. We have the highest paying stock market. We have child poverty that's cut in half. We have the most, the tax credit. So we have multiple reasons. And then if you look at the case against Trump, you'll see that multiple economists have said that Trump will ruin the economy, right, including Nobel Prize winners.
No, it's just.
And
This is this is actually really instructive, and thank you for embodying
sad,
it
man.
so
It's really
perfectly,
sad.
Which is that, like, everyday people are no longer buying the rubbish. That everything's fine, everything's great. Young people can't afford homes.
right, because if you here in Montana specifically,
No, every state
I know.
has seen housing prices go up, but not just that. It's that energy prices are up. It is harder than ever to be able to have a family. We have a fertility
all right, so
crisis.
Let's take Montana for example. Northwestern Energy prices are going up under a Republican board of commissioners, despite having a budget surplus this year of over $2 billion.
I don't know about that. I'm sure somebody else can comment on that. But going back to the macro trends across the country, Donald Trump, when he was president, lower income earners saw their incomes go up the most. Young people were flourishing, lowest ever black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment, Asian American unemployment. We saw an economic renaissance and a miracle. But here's the point. Here's actually the kicker. Here's how I know I'm right. Is that when American people are asked outside of the economists, 70% of people think the Trump economy is better than actually what's happening now. So you're living on an island.
If you look at
so
real
are
wage
people
growth
wrong? No.
compared- if
Hold
you
on.
look at real wage
Answer the
growth
question.
compared to inflation. I encourage everyone
these
to look
people
this up.
wrong?
Statistica, great source.
Are these-
real wage growth compared to inflation
No.
is higher under the Biden administration?
Are 70% of the people here or the country wrong when they say Trump was better at the economy?
Again, look it up. I encourage everyone.
No,
Statistica.com.
but
Real-
He's literally saying it. Are you saying that the stats are right, but I am wrong when I go to buy groceries? I find out that things are much higher priced than they were before. So I'm wrong for that. I need to be like, oh, the stats says it's actually cheaper. So I should believe that than literally believing myself and say like, oh, this is so much, expensive now than it was before. So he wants people to actually believe, oh, the stats says it's cheaper, that means it's cheaper. But I'll pay more money for the same thing that I've given less money before under Trump.
But
wage growth to inflation.
Are these people wrong when they say that the economy was better under Trump?
Montana is distinct from the nation itself.
No,
for a
it's
variety of
not.
reasons. Yes, it is. We have the highest housing increases out of any compared to wage under Gianforte. So compared to average wage growth or an average wages, it takes more to buy a house here in Montana than anywhere else in the nation. That includes California. That includes.
No, it's fine. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
At this
And
point,
it's
he was just making a complete different argument.
just this is the divide. Is that 70% of the country is saying I'm suffering and I'm struggling,
So
and
then you said, look
let
around
me-
us.
let me-
These are Montanans. Let's talk about Montana.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. They vehemently think you're totally on an island here. And let me just say, though, that this is what's happening in the country. 70% of the country is saying, please help us. We can't afford stuff. And a small oligarchy is saying, you're dumb. Listen to the Nobel Prize winner.
Exactly. I don't understand why someone would still vote for Kamala and someone would still actually believe that her policies would make things cheaper for people, which was clearly the opposite. And now that Trump is back in office, let's see what he does for the next 4 years. I am actually more excited to see what the other people are going to be doing in his cabinet, like Tulsi Gabbard and especially Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. Let's see what the new Department of Government agency would be doing. Till that, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone, and bye-bye.